Goose Gossage.
The Padres and several other teams, I think 10 other teams of the Padres have made an offer tonight. Ballard Smith will meet again tomorrow with Jerry Kapstein. In essence, the Padres would very much like to have Goose Gossage. One thing's for sure, though, they won't have to compete with the New York Yankees. Gossage made that very clear live earlier tonight on 10 News.
Well, Mike, I have today in San Diego personally informed Mr. Jeff Torborg and Mr. Gene Michaels of the New York Yankees that I will not return to play for George Steinbrenner. I have told my close friend and advisor, Mr. Jerry Kapstein, that I have no interest in having Jerry receive any contract offer from George Steinbrenner.
Well, that decision obviously enhances the Padres' chances and the other teams, quite frankly, that are still in the bidding. But how about the Padres' situation? How does Jerry Kapstein see their offer?
They are very, very interested. Ballard has told me that if the Padres sign Rick Gossage, he feels that they will win the Western Division of the National League and quite possibly win a World Championship. And, of course, I totally agree with him. So we're going to be talking with Ballard tonight and with other parties. And we hope to have a decision soon. The only thing that we've said about timetable is that there will be no talks beginning Christmas Eve until the day after Christmas.
We're going to work at a backhand. And you got to be ready. Stay low. That's right. Be ready. Stay low. All right, baby. We're going to work with it.
There's a certain grace and order to baseball. Unlike the violent collisions of football and the frenzy of indoor soccer, baseball seems to have a certain maturity to it, especially in spring ball. So far, nobody's made an error. The team is undefeated. Everyone's relaxed.
See how much better you slide with all that weight off with?
Pitcher Ed Whitson and second baseman Juan Bonilla have come back in better shape. They've each lost nearly 15 pounds.
I did a lot of running, a lot of physical during the winter, and right now I'm very comfortable with the position I'm in, and hopefully go 100% and have a good season.
Just trying to figure if it's going to be, if I'm going to be strong enough or not, you know, without the weight and stuff. So I feel much better right now. I'm running better, and right now I'm a little quicker.
One thing you notice in Yuma is that the smiles come easy, along with optimism.
You get the proper blend of experience and youth, and that talent seems to mesh together, and that's why we're legitimate contenders this year.
With the home schedule we have starting out, we're quite optimistic. We like our ball club very much.
I think we have enough arms out there to be very, very competitive. We have, I think, as good a pitching staff as anybody.
If there's ever a time that we're going to win it, it's going to be this year.
I think if we stay away from injury and everybody has just doesn't even have to have a super year, just have a decent type of year that their ability calls for, and we can do it.
And if all that happens, who knows? This October we might be saying wait till next year for another championship. News 8, Yuma.
The opening fireworks display was in memory of the Padres' biggest fan, the late Ray Kroc. And then cheers from the crowd as 11 members of the Navy's leapfrog team appeared out of the sky, parachuting into the stadium. The ushers wore white tuxes for the event. The chicken made a rather classy entrance wearing black. And then there were the fans.
Why have you brought this rose bush to the stadium?
For Steve Garvey. He is a rose, all in his own classification, and it's our way of saying thanks for being special.
Yes, there is a lot of action going on the playing field, but there is as much, if not more, going on right here in the stands. The food's a big hit this year. Servomation's $4 million in improvements appears to be paying off.
Last year they were bad. This year they've improved. Look, watch this.
But it's the team these 48,000 people came to see. How great are the Padres?
They're only the greatest.
We're going to go all the way. Absolutely. And with the season opener 5-1 win over the Pirates, you may just be right. Susan Lichtman, News 8 at the stadium.
I had mentioned that the question marks were the pitching, and McReynolds and Martinez and of course Gossage hadn't gotten into midseason form.
Few answers.
So what had happened was Shaw and Gossage combined on a 3-hitter. McReynolds and Martinez hit home runs. Ta-da! And the Padres won their opener. Sellout crowd at the stadium. Here is the first inning. Marvell Wynn. He's the only guy who gave Shaw trouble with several hits going over McReynolds' head. He had no chance on it. Marvell Wynn at third. Now Johnny Ray, the second baseman, coming up here with a ground ball to Wiggins at second. Run scores 1-0 Pittsburgh. Top of the first. Look at this play. Oh, Madlock Templeton on his knees and throws him out. That's the defensive play of the day. The Padres come on in the bottom of the second. Wiggins continuing to hit, continuing to play well as he did during the spring. He gets a double, and speaking of hitting, Tony Gwynn goes the opposite way, right past Madlock. This scores the Padres' first run. It is a 1-1 tie. Kennedy ground ball right side. Second run scores. It's 2-1 Padres after 1. Now watch this. This is McReynolds. He and Martinez are hit with power and drove in run after run in the spring. McReynolds gets his first home run of the season, and the Padres are up 3-1. And now is Kennedy a little bit later with a base hit just in front of the left fielder. And now here's Martinez. Both of those were fairly well smack-olded, you know? So Martinez gets a home run, McReynolds gets a home run, and they bring in Gossage here in the 8th, and the place is going bananas. He comes on with quick strikeout of Frobel, blows everybody away, 1-2-3, and a final out here in the top of the 9th inning, getting Madlock on a fly ball to Tony Gwynn. Shaw gets the win. Here is Gossage coming off, and the Padres win it 5-1.
The Pods are sure keeping everyone on the edge of their seats.
You know, when I'm monitoring these games, I can't go to the bathroom. You don't want to miss any part of their lineup.
That must be tough, though.
They're still the only unbeaten team in the National League after 4 straight come-from-behind victories. You sure don't stay behind very long when the M&M boys combined for 6 hits and 5 runs batted in. Now, Ed Whitson had the worst ratio in the league last year of homers to innings pitched. In first inning, Ryan Sandberg takes them deep. But watch Luis Salazar in his first start save Whitson some more trouble. Check this out. Rob Say right here. Now the Pods tie it up at 1 on a Cub error, but give some runs back here in the 4th as Alan Wiggins boots a couple in the inning. Hopefully he got some of these out of his system. Next pitch, the pitcher, Steve Trout, singles in 2. Chicago will lead 4-1. But here come the Pods. Garvey singles in a run. It's 4-3. Then here's Kevin McReynolds. With a double up the alley, in come Garvey and Martinez. San Diego leads now 5-4 in the 6th. And it's McReynolds again. He and Martinez each had 3 hits. Triple here for Kevin, 7-4. Then in the 9th inning, Goose Gossage give up 2 runs, but still gets out of it. Gets Tom Verizor to ground out. 4-0 is their best start in their 16-year history. Same teams tomorrow at 105.
Stop the 84 season right now and go right to the playoffs.
Well, we have a season highlights film. I mentioned that last week. That's it. The 1984 Padres season highlights film is now available for clubs, and
it's been a wonderful year, hasn't it?
Incredible. See, they have to make it dramatic and fall behind. They do that in every game. They did it again tonight. They played the St. Louis Cardinals, and they won 7-3. Here is former Padre Ozzie Smith, who was just great in the field and got an RBI single here to score a run in the 3rd as the Cardinals took the lead, as they've been doing, 1-0. Then the other Smith, no relation type, left fielder Lonnie Smith with a base hit to the wall to score another run. He is out at 3rd, but it was 2-0 in the 3rd. The Padres got one in the bottom of the 3rd to make it 2-1. Then in the 4th, Andy Van Slyke against Andy Hawkins. Hawkins was better than last week, but still not good enough, but he got the win and scores a run. It was 3-1, bases loaded Padres in the 5th inning. Champ Summers the batter. Grand slam for Summers. Grand slam home run after the Padres were down 3-1. Suddenly they're leading 5-3. Summers, who drove in a winning run against the Cubs in the bottom of the 9th. Here's Carmelo Martinez in the next inning, the 6th. His 2nd home run of the season. And the Padres are winners 7-3. Hawkins got the win. Dravecki pitched a strong 4 innings to get the save. Bob Force was the loser. Here is with a man on against Dravecki in the top of the 9th. Art Howe, the 3rd baseman, a nice running catch by Tony Gwynn, and the Padres win 7-3. My Padres tonight winning their 8th. They're 8-1. They lead the Dodgers by 3.5 games. Need I tell you more? Here's the one mistake that Eric Shaw made in a beautiful performance. 4th inning after he retired 10 in a row, he'd walked one man, and then Horder's home run made it 2-0 in the top of the fourth. Bottom of the fourth, after Len Barker retired 10 in a row, Gwynn has a single that they misplayed Murphy and Perry into a triple. He goes to third. Nettles drives him in with a sacrifice fly. Then Garvey, after a hit-and-run single, drove Gwynn to third again in the seventh, drives in the tying run. And then Kennedy plays hit and run. Boy, Dick had it on twice and was perfect. First and third, and they drive it in with Martinez, a sacrifice fly, to make it 3-2. In the eighth, this single by Wiggins drives in Templeton. That makes it 4-2. And then in the same inning, Luis Salazar, who had gone in as a pinch runner for Nettles, was stayed at third. This thing, Washington should have had this coming in. He was nowhere to be found. Hubbard couldn't get it. There's the run, make it 5-2. Here's Hubbard with 1 on, 2 out against the Goose in the ninth. Goose's third save, Shaw's second win. The Padres win the ball game 5-2.
1-1 delivery. A ball and 2 strikes. Gossage 1 strike away from handing the Padres their 10th win of the year. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. 2-1 San Diego. 2 out, bottom of the ninth. And he struck him out, and that's the ball game as Dusty Baker goes down swinging, and the Padres go swinging. Yes, sir. San Diego on your Kobe Swap Meet scorecard win the ball game. The final score: San Diego 2 and San Francisco 1.
Remember when you said the play by Martinez might turn things around?
Turn it around?
They sure look like they were turned
That's
around.
right. Beat a hot team in the Phillies.
Yes.
Phillies had won 11 of 12 coming in. It does feel awfully good, even if it's only by 3 percentage points. It's been a long time in coming, but the Padres are back atop the National West. They beat the hottest team in the league on the road, while the Dodgers lost to that rookie sensation Dwight Gooden and the Mets. Tonight in Philadelphia, the Padres haul out the heavy lumber for the 7-3 victory. Now, the Padres jumped on the Phillies in a hurry. First inning, Alan Wiggins on the move, and Tony Gwynn with the shot in the gap to right center field. Wiggins scores on Tony's triple. Moments later, Gwynn came home on Greg Nettles' single to right field. Now, Nettles and Gwynn had 7 of the 15 Padre hits, 2-0 Padres. In the third, 3 more Padre runs, this time Kevin McReynolds with the single, this to bring in Steve Garvey. And Gary Templeton made it 5-0 Padres. He goes with the pitch to right field for a ground rule double, and the Padres are in control. The Padres also made some big plays in the field. Watch here, Juan Samuel with a long fly to right field. Look at Tony Gwynn go up high at the wall to make the catch. 8th inning, Len Matuszek with the ground ball right side. Now watch Wiggins. He'll make the diving play, and he'll nail Matuszek at first. Nettles capped off the night with a home run to right field. He was 4 for 5, 2 runs batted in, home run number 5 on the year for Nettles. Padres win 7-3. Same 2 go tomorrow night at 4 right here in 39. The Padres will try to keep their slim lead in the NL West.
13 people were ejected from this afternoon's Padres-Braves game in Atlanta, and 5 people were arrested in a fight-filled battle that ended up involving fans. Errant pitches was the cause. The Padres lost 5-3 and lead the West by 9.5 games. And you can bet we're going to see fines and maybe even suspensions from this one. After an hour-and-a-half rain delay, we're in the top of the first pitch of the game. Pascal Perez hits Alan Wiggins, and that sets up the tempo for the rest of the day. Bottom of the first with a man on, Claudell Washington tags an Ed Whitson pitch over the wall in right center. It's 2-0 Braves. Pascal Perez comes up, and Whitson's off target. Perez doesn't like the attempted revenge, starts dancing with the bat as both benches clear for a discussion. Both teams at this point were warned. Then it's 3-0 in the fourth when Whitson throws his 3rd straight pitch inside on Perez, and Whitson, along with Dick Williams, is ejected. Still in the fourth, Greg Brooker delivers to Jerry Royster, who singles to right to bring in Perez. That's a scoring play. It's 4-0. Bottom of the fifth, Rafael Ramirez booms one to left off the wall, past Bobby Brown. Rufino Linares makes it 5-0. In the sixth, Booker throws a pitch at Perez. Booker and acting manager Ozzie Virgil get ejected. Then in the seventh, Nettles finds his own way to get back at Perez. A home run to right is 14th. It's narrowed to 5-1. In the eighth, Craig Lefferts goes for Perez. Lefferts, along with acting manager Jack Kroll, are booted out of the game, and a bench-clearing brawl erupts. Umpire John McSherry is helpless in the middle of this one. It went on for 10 minutes. Champ Summers went to the Atlanta dugout after Perez, where he gets doused by a fan, and the battle scene shifts. Summers is ejected, while Harry Dunlop becomes the Padres' 4th man manager of the day. Bobby Brown and Gerald Perry were also ejected for this action right here as the battles just moved all over the field. Then we go to the top of the ninth. Donnie Moore of the Braves throws a pitch at Nettles, and that sparks another mass fight. Rick Mailer and Steve Bedrosian were thrown out. When play resumed, the Padres scored twice for a 5-3 final, and no doubt we're going to see fines, suspensions, and who knows what.
Now the story in the National League, and we started off in the West where the Padres became the winningest team in the league. Taking on the Phillies at Jack Murphy, the Padres have a 3-0 lead going into the ninth, but Tim Lawler makes a big mistake to the leadoff man, Mike Schmidt. Kiss it. That is Schmidt's 23rd tater, and it is a 3-1 ball game, and the Phils aren't finished yet. On comes Goose Gossage, and he serves one up to Greg Gross. He's got the single up the middle. That drives home a 2. 2 more runs, and his baby's all tied up at 3. But no extra innings for the Padres. Bottom of the ninth. No outs. Bases loaded. The Phillies with a 5-man infield. Carmelo Martinez finds the hole. Tony Gwynn can crawl home from third. San Diego pulls it out in the bottom of the ninth. Final score, 4-3. The Padres' 71st win of the year against 48 defeats.
While the San Diego Padres are enjoying the good life far out in front of the National League's Western Division, the Philadelphia Phillies are scraping, struggling, and are becoming increasingly frustrated as they try to gain ground on the National League Eastern Division leading Chicago Cubs. The Padres are so far in front they can practically coast the last month of the season. It's fun when you're number one.
We're going to have fun no matter what, because we've had fun for the last 5 months, and we're going to have fun for the next month. And winning makes it even more fun. But we're not going to coast. We know we have to win every game. We want to try to win as many games as we can, no matter how big our league, because it's we're looking forward to having a great season for the Padres, and you know the fans are really enjoying it in San Diego.
You know, for me, being here for the first time in anything like this, it's been just a ball. You know, we just go out. Everybody comes to the park early now, and we just have fun around here before the game starts. And then when the game starts, we have fun too. So, you know, we're just going to keep that stay on the same even keel, and just try to, you know, finish this thing out.
Salazar shoots one fair down the first base side. The Padres are blowing it wide open. It's 5-1 San Diego. Salazar doubles. He's going to try for 3 on the bubble by Heap, and he's over there. So give Salazar a double and give Heap an error. Salazar drives in 2 more. 5-1 San Diego. On the ground to third. Salazar got a big hop out of it. And look at that cannon. Hubie Brooks is gone, 5-3, and the Padres about to wrap this one up. They're leading at 5-1.
Jerry, of the last 6 doubleheaders the Padres have played, if they hold on, and it looks like they will in this one, this will only be the 2nd time they've won the first game, but in the other 4, they've been able to come back and win the 2nd. So they've all been splits. They got a chance for a sweep in this one.
Kevin McReynolds, and this looks like it. He grabs it for the final out. So Danny Heap lines out straightaway center field. Is 3 up and 3 down, and the final score: San Diego 5, New York 1.
The Padres had home run power as they hung on to beat the Dodgers 4-3. In the 2nd inning, Kevin McReynolds tags a Jerry Royce pitch into the seats and left for his 20th homer. And that gave the Padres a 1-0 lead. Then with 2 men on, Gary Templeton drops one into center in front of R.J. Reynolds to bring in Carmelo Martinez, and it's 2-0 Padres. Then in the bottom of the 2nd with Pedro Guerrero on third, Herman Rivera hits one to Wiggins. Great play here, but it's 2-1 Dodgers. Then in the 4th inning, Terry Kennedy comes up. He's been in a slump lately, but he belts a 2-run homer to right, his 12th, and it's 4-1 Padres. They hang on to win it 4-3 as Mark Thurman picks up the victory.
And a base at the center. Well, he's utilized all the fields, and Milner's never going to throw Wiggins out. Boy, Tony Gwynn, what a year he's having.
203 base hits, and that last one puts the Padres ahead 2-1 as Gwynn continues to roll. That was a breaking ball up. He just went with it and ripped it into center field for the solid single. That brings in Wiggins.
It's 2-0 San Diego. They've out-hit the Reds 7-1. And Gwynn rips one over to get it on one hop is the center fielder Gary Ritas, and Tony Gwynn has a long single to center field. Thought that ball might have a chance of being caught, but Ritas decided to play it safe, and Gwynn has himself his 204th hit of the year.
Padres down to 4. Dave Dravecky tossed a 3-hitter at Cincinnati today, and the Padres completed a 2-game sweep of the Reds with a 2-0 win. Padres got all the runs in the second inning with Carmelo Martinez on base. Terry Kennedy slammed a Joe Price curveball into the lower deck and right. Kennedy's 14th homer, his 54th and 55th RBIs. He is really starting to turn it on. And Dravecky turned in easily his best performance in the last month. Had a no-hitter going until Ron Oster doubled to left with 1 out in the 6th. Dravecky got out of that jam. Never in any real trouble the rest of the way. He got some great defense behind him. Alan Wiggins with a gem. And according to Carmelo Martinez, it was Dave Dravecky at his very best. Padres magic number 1, which means they can do no worse than a tie for first. The stadium this afternoon, the Padres did all their scoring early, then held on for 5-4, went over the Giants. Gary Templeton got it started. He went the other way in the second inning, a 2-run single to left. Craig Nettles and Kevin McReynolds scored. Then Tim Lawler jumped all over Mike Kruko's very first pitch, a 3-run shot, giving Lawler 15 RBIs, a new Padre record for a single season for a pitcher. The Giants play the game under protest right here. Manny Trio's third inning single hit the ump. The runners had to return to their bases, although Brad Willman eventually scored anyway. In the fourth, San Francisco inched closer when Johnny Rabb sent a shot way up into the lower deck. 5-3. The Giants would get closer later. They threatened again in the 6th inning, but watch this great double play. Alan Wiggins, Gary Templeton, back to Kurt Bavacqua. The inning was over. In the 7th, defense again, Dave Dravecky pitching. He got Steve Nicosia to line out to end the inning with men on. And the final out in the 9th to nail it down 5-4. Now the Padres will watch tonight's L.A.-Houston game. Would they like the Dodgers to eliminate Houston, or would they prefer doing it themselves tomorrow night against Atlanta?
To do it for the city tomorrow, and you know, I think we ought to just get it over and we'll move on to the playoffs. This is hopefully going to be the first of 3 celebrations, so it's fun, it's exciting.
History has been made today. The San Diego Padres are in the playoffs for the first time ever. As you might well imagine, Padre fans are going absolutely crazy. That goes for the fans here at News 8, as well as others throughout the county. News 8's Doug McAllister is standing by live now where they are whooping it up. Doug?
Susan, this is the scene at Munson, Mission Valley, about a stone's throw away from the stadium. People here have been laboring through the Dodgers-Astro game, and now that the final score is in and the Padres have clinched, they're kind of excited. How about those Dodgers? Was it tough rooting for the Dodgers right at the end here?
Absolutely, it was tough. It was tough. We hadn't been on the Dodgers to win this match.
What about who's next? What do you think of the Cubbies?
I'm happy to have been a part of it. I really am. I was really excited. I think it's starting to sink in a little bit now.
President Reagan, huh? I've never really been on top in the major leagues, but this is always a first, and I'm really happy to be part of this.
You know, we put it all together now, I think, and we won 4 in a row. So hopefully, you know, I know a lot of guys are going to get some rest now, and
yourself included.
I hope so.
Good evening. At 11 o'clock, after hearing wait until next year for 15 years, the wait came to an end tonight. The Padres have clinched first place in the Western Division of the National League, and the team is headed for the playoffs. Mike Smith in the sports office has more.
Carol, what a special moment, but I think almost to a man the Padres would have liked to have clinched it on the field tomorrow night against Atlanta, but they're going to take it just the same. The Padres did their part this afternoon, nosing out the San Francisco Giants 5-4. Dave Dravecky got Steve Nicosia to end it. Meanwhile, down in the Houston Astrodome, Houston's season came to an end when Alan Ashby bounced out for the final out. So the Padres are headed to the playoffs for the very first time.
We knew we were legitimate contenders. The last 2 years we played 81-81, and we had some injuries, especially last year. And we didn't have the complement of players that we have now. And we have some veterans on here that know how to win.
This is hopefully going to be the first of 3 celebrations, so it's fun, it's exciting.
As long as we win it, then that's fine with me, because this is the closest I've ever been, and for a lot of players, I think they feel the same. We're looking forward to it.
The most difficult part is when you get 90% of it, trying to finish off that final 10% is the most difficult, and I think that getting Gossage and Nettles was the final 10%.
And we have a great bunch of guys, good ball players, and it was a 25-man effort. It really was. From the bench all the way up to the starting lineup every day. If you start naming people, you start forgetting. You probably forget somebody, but I think we all know it was a team effort, and people of San Diego should be very, very proud of these bunch of guys. They're great players, great people.
The Championship Series. From Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California, it's the Chicago Cubs and the San Diego Padres. Yesterday in Game 2, Steve Trout handcuffed the Padres, allowing only 5 hits and 2 runs in 8 1/3 innings. He forced the Padres into 17 ground ball outs. And when Trout came out, in came hard-throwing Lee Smith to shut the door on San Diego. The tall right-hander retired the final 2 batters to ice a 4-2 win for the Cubs. So, as the series moves west to San Diego for Game 3, the Cubs can finish things off tonight and move on to the World Series for the first time in 39 years. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jack Murphy Stadium. I'm Don Drysdale, and happy that you've joined us tonight. Game 3 of the Championship Series in the National League. And if you've been following, everybody across the country knows what has to happen. Jimmy Fry in one clubhouse is looking for a win to go on back to Chicago and pick up a pennant for the Chicago Cubs the first time since 1945. Dick Williams has said it very flatly. We've got to win tonight to be able to come back and win Saturday. We've got to sweep the Cubs in 3. But working with me again is Earl Weaver and Reggie Jackson. And Earl, as you look at this trend as far as the first 2 games are concerned, there has been one as far as the Cubs are concerned, and the Padres also.
Well, I believe there has. The Chicago Cubs have done what they wanted to do. Ron Sandberg and Bob Denier, the 2 men at the top of the order, have been on base 11 out of 18 times. Now, along with putting pressure on the defense with their speed, what this does is set the table for the hitters behind them. 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters in the Cub lineup have had people to get on. On the other hand, the San Diego Padres with Alan Wiggins and Tony Gwynn, they've only been on base 3 out of 17 times, so the RBI opportunities haven't been there. And as a result, the Padres haven't gotten the number of runs they needed.
No, there's no question about that. As a matter of fact, they've scored only 2, and that was yesterday. And Reggie, we've all been through this before. We've been down in the counts in postseason play. If you're a member of the San Diego Padres, what are you looking at right now?
Well, right now, Donnie, you know that you've only scored 2 runs. The Cubs have scored 17 runs, and I'm pretty sure that the ball club knows that they've only hit 183, and the Cubs have hit almost twice that much. Someone from that ball club has to go around and start slapping guys on the back. Maybe it should be a Steve Garvey or a Greg Nettles or a Rich Gossage or a Terry Kennedy, but someone has to step forward and lead this ball club back from almost no offense at all. I don't know if you can look for one of the young kids to do it. I almost don't think it's fair for a Wiggins or a Gwynn. I think one of the big guys has to do it. Again, Donnie, let's remember that this team is down 2 games to nothing. In 1982, the California Angels were up 2 games to nothing, went to Milwaukee, and we got beat 3 straight.
That is so true. And Earl, very quickly, of course, you look at if Dick Williams, if you're a manager, do you have a meeting? Do you walk around individually, talk to the players, or what?
Well, I definitely wouldn't have a meeting. They know what they have to do. But I would get to each individual player if I could. I said, look, if we lose, the sun's going to come up tomorrow, but when that sun comes up, let's be playing ball.
And Reggie, if you are the veteran, do you talk to the youngsters? Do you say try and get away from the 5-run homer?
You have a job to do, Donnie, and what one of the veterans has to do, I remember in 1973, Gene Tennis came around to me and he said, hey, big guy, I'd like to play tomorrow. One of the big guys from the Padres has to accept that responsibility, step forward and do it.
Well, we have a new set of amateur umpires tonight, and still only 4 as far as the National League is concerned. But we've talked about Ryan Sandberg. We're going to give you a chance to look at the fine young second baseman for the Chicago Cubs. In January of 1982, Dallas Green completed a coup, acquiring Ryan Sandberg and Larry Boa for Ivan De Jesus. It was a trade that'll have Philly fanatics stirring for years, and the fans on the north side of Chicago screaming MVP.
Well, I've been hearing about it a lot, and, you know, I haven't really thought about it that much. You know, the thing that we wanted to do this year was win a pennant for the city of Chicago, and, you know, we did that. And, you know, I was just thinking about playing good ball for the Chicago Cubs so that we could reach that goal. And, you know, once we did that, then I was real relaxed and real happy about it.
It has certainly been a season to remember this summer of '84. Near the top in almost every offensive category, Sandberg has set new standards for second baseman.
Look at what's happened to me. I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else.
winter, it's off to Tempe, Arizona, but the summers are now spent in a Chicago suburb. For the Sandbergs, it's been exciting, all this new success. But it hasn't been that easy, as his wife Cindy explains.
We don't go anywhere. We tried his last off day to go shopping, and we didn't make it through the first department store without him signing about 25 autographs. This was the first store, and within an hour and a half, we both decided, this isn't worth it, let's go home. You know, so it's got its drawbacks, but it's been an exciting and interesting year for us.
If he does win the MVP, would he feel it's deserving?
Tough question. You know, that means that I'd have been the guy who, you know, most helped the ball club win, and you know, I think that I've done a good job this year. You know, I set some goals to be a more consistent player, and you know, all that I was concerned about was helping the Cubs win, and we accomplished that.
Well, indeed, they did accomplish that. Ryne Sandberg has helped them win. He's helped them move one rung up on the ladder. They've won the Eastern Division title. They are right now just one victory away from the National League Championship. And over at second base, you'll find Alan Wiggins. Wiggins will be at second base. Over at shortstop is Gary Templeton. Templeton will be at short. Over at third base and back in the lineup tonight will be the veteran Greg Nettles. Nettles out yesterday with a bruised hand. In left field will be Carmelo Martinez. Over in center field will be the young center fielder Kevin McReynolds. And over in right field, you will see the National League batting champion Tony Gwynn. Behind the plate and doing the catching will be Terry Kennedy. And the starting pitcher tonight will be right-hander Ed Whitson, a record of 14-8 on the year. This will be his 32nd start here in 1984. 29 years of age, born in Johnson City, Tennessee, now makes his home in Columbus, Ohio. He's a 6'3", 195-pounder. The umpires for tonight's game, we mentioned a new set. Terry Bova behind the plate, Frank Campagna at first with Frank Fisher at second and John Stewart over at third. Still, the National League electing to go with only 4. These men are from Arizona, as they have worked some exhibition games over in Arizona. Terry Bova, the home plate umpire. He's been umpiring for 16 years, 36 years of age. The last 10 years he's worked at the college level. He's attended what they call the blue chip umpiring clinics. And we're about ready to go as Dernier takes outside. So game number 3 underway. Dernier 3 for 6 in the series, and indeed he has been part of the catalytic twosome as far as these Cubs are concerned.
Well, he don't want to get behind this hitter. He's supposed to have a good fastball according to the slider scouting report. Slow curve, slider's a real good pitch for him. And he's behind 3-0 now. His changeup is a pound ball.
No one facing him before, Earl, he has a real good fastball. He has an outstanding Major League fastball. I would say 92, 93 miles an hour.
And supposed to have good sinking action on it.
There you can see that fastball tailing back over that outside corner. That's where Whitson's got to keep it if he's to be effective. He's got to keep it down and let, as you mentioned before, Earl and Reggie, let the sinking effect take effect as far as that pitch is concerned. More of a sinker slider type just outside, and Dernier's a bore. Well, just add 1 to Dernier. You see Dernier and Sandberg against Wiggins and Gwynn, a very interesting stat. 11-3, 7-2 in runs scored. Well, I'll tell you, they have been something.
12 out of 19 plate appearances, an outstanding on-base percentage.
That's awfully doggone good. You know, I know we've talked about this before, but in the first game they had 4 umpires. I just don't know why they have not gone to 6. I just don't think it makes sense.
And the first pitch to Sandberg is in and over.
It's funny, I guess they're trying to keep a difference between the American League and the National League. They've got 6 umpires over there, and they've only got 4 here.
Well, so what else is new? They've been doing that, Reggie, for years. It's not sometimes Major League Baseball. It's American League Baseball and National League Baseball when you get right down to it.
I'll tell you, with Dernier and Sandberg getting on base all the time, that pulls the infield in. We've got the shortstop up in double play depth. We've got the second baseman up in double play depth. First baseman has to hold the runner on, and it just makes it tough.
to the right side. Wiggins will go to Templeton for one, and that's all they get. That ball not hit hard, hit off the end of the bat, but they get the lead man at second in Dernier, and that will bring on the Sarge, as they call him, Gary Matthews. Whitson will not waste any time. I've always maintained that's not a bad theory to have. You're either going to win in a hurry, lose in a hurry, get it and go, and keep the fielders on their toes.
And especially if you're throwing strikes.
That's right.
Stay in the groove.
You know, I think as a player, you like to play behind a guy that works fast because you're always on your toes. You're always in the game. You have a tendency to work behind a guy, play behind a guy that does not work fast, work slow. You tend to relax a little bit, get back on your heels. Consequently, you make a bad play or two.
So true. As Matthews stands in, he is 2 for 7 in the series. Good change. 0-1 the count, and there you saw the first one of the evening by Whitson. Well, we saw the 10th man in Chicago. The Cub fans at Wrigley Field, and what a show they put on. And you have to take a tip of the cap to those fans. And here tonight, a sellout crowd at Jack Murphy Stadium. A good breaking pitch by Whitson. The Padres know there's no tomorrow if they don't come out on top tonight.
An outstanding slider right there. If the right-handed hitters are going to hit that pitch, they're going to have to go to right field with it.
That's what we were talking about. I think, Reggie, you brought that up the other day. Those sinker ball pitchers, they like to see the man try and pull. You like to see the right-handers try and pull that pitch and check swing foul away. As Earl was mentioning, you're better off going the other way with a sinker slider type pitcher.
You've got to go with the ball. If it's out over the plate, you've got to try to hit that ball to right field. Right now, I'm wondering whether the twilight is going to affect the hitters. Ed Whitson, although he does throw a sinker, he also throws very, very hard. And it just would not surprise me at all to know that the hitters may be having trouble picking the ball up right now.
Whoop, there goes Sandberg.
Well, there's a broken play.
Right there, home plate was umpire Terry Bovee called time.
In a situation like that with a pro umpire, Gary Matthews asked for timeout at the last minute. He didn't get out of the box until the umpire gave him that time, but Whitson was already on his way to home plate. We get to see it right here. Matthews asked for time. He got it. A lot of pro umpires wouldn't give you time in that situation because the play has already started.
And Sandberg was going, but not this time. That is fouled right side, backing out of play.
You know, I've found in a situation like that, I'm one of the guys that does call time late when I'm in the box, Earl, and if you turn to the umpire and you're emphatic, you holler time yourself, then it does catch on. But if you lay back and don't say it loud, you will not get time, as you said.
Matthews on the year hit .291, 14 home runs, 82 RBIs. Now he gets time again.
I really don't think he should be giving him time that late, Reggie.
Well, I didn't like that one right there. I did not like that one.
Whitson is saying
Whitson's upset.
And so is Kennedy. Kennedy's turning around and saying, what is this? Who's running this? And here comes Dick Williams out. So Whitson, as we mentioned before, working fast, and right away the Cubs possibly with a little psychological thought here.
I think that's part of the game plan. Here we get it again. He's looking over, he stepped out, he's on his way to home plate.
I think he was late. I think he called time late. Another thing, you get Dick Williams, you get a little fire going right here now. You get a chance for the crowd to get excited. So I'm sure that the Padres will use this to their advantage.
And now Jim Fry's out.
I think this will help the Padres.
All the man has to tell Jimmy Fry and Gary Matthews, I'll tell you if it's time or not. You're not going to tell me. And I think that's what Dick Williams wanted to find out.
I think right now that this is working in the Padres' favor. They haven't had any excitement at all. And right now they're just looking for something to get them going and get some fire, anything to change the pace.
Well, when the Padres were loosening up before the ball game, and the fans start cheering them, giving them a hand, the ball players themselves went around and encouraged the fans to make a little noise.
Now Jimmy Fry has had his say. The count remains at a ball and 2 strikes to Matthews. There goes the runner, up high, throw through, not in time. So Sandberg with a stolen base, and he had an excellent jump.
Yeah, the book, the scouting report, we get to see the jump right here, and we'll see how much he gets. But the scouting report shows that while Whitson's got a good move to first base, he's slow getting the ball to home plate. Pitch. And the corner looking. Whoa! My goodness gracious. Here's the pitch. Get it from a good shot from center field. It's outside when it started, and further outside when it went by the plate.
Well, that's what we've said before. You've got to establish the strike zone.
Well, that ball right there looked like it was outside and also might look like it's been a little bit up. I think the only guy I could give credit on that one right there is Gary Matthews for showing a little class and not turning around and arguing.
Here's Leon Durham. There's 2 gone. Sandberg remaining at second base. The strike to Durham is 1 for 9 in the series. Hit 279 on the year, 23 home runs, 96 RBIs.
So far this game, it's nothing like yesterday's game when we didn't notice the umpire. We've already had 3 incidents here in the first half inning.
There's a fly. What a catch by Templeton! He takes away a run from the Cubs. The first time in this series they have not scored in the first inning. And what a job! That ball hit hard by Durham. Look at it again, guys.
Here's a great play. He gets a real good jump, follows the ball all the way. Great extension, and look at him stay with the baseball. That's the kind of play they need to get this play up, to get this team up. What a great play. And he hit the ball on the nose.
The Cubs are gone. We go to the bottom half of the first, no score. Matthews out in left. That's Bobby Dernier in center field. And moving across and over to right field. And he's not out there yet. It'll be Keith Moreland. Do not know where Moreland is at as of this moment. But the battery here tonight, it'll be Jody Davis behind the plate and the right-hander Dennis Eckersley on the mound. Eckersley, 30 years of age. He's a 6'2", 195-pounder, born in Oakland. Traded to the Cubs from the Boston Red Sox. And that was in the Bill Buckner deal.
And yesterday was Dennis Eckersley's birthday. And today in St. Louis, Missouri, there's a fan glued to the set who's having her 81st birthday. And that's my mother. Happy birthday, Mom.
You told me you were going to get that in.
Yes, sir, and rightfully so. There's Moreland. Moreland was down in the bullpen, so he moves into right field. Now your infield from the left side will be Say and Boa, from the right side, Sandberg and Durham. And the outfield from left to right, Matthews, Dernier, and Moreland, and the battery of Davis and Eckersley, as it'll be Alan Wiggins to lead it off. He'll be followed by Tony Gwynn and then Steve Garvey. Eckersley, a record of 10-8 for the Cubs, but they say he has pitched much better than that.
Well, there's no secret what he throws. It's sinker, slider, mostly down, but he works in and out. He's got a good changeup.
Eckersley, 8-3 since the All-Star break. In his last 8 starts, he has given up 2 earned runs or less. That's low, and the count 2-0. Dallas Green, again, one of his deals with the Boston Red Sox. Really had 4 more or less consecutive mediocre seasons with Boston. There's the strike, and the count moves to 2-1.
It seemed like, Don, his last few years with the Boston Red Sox, that he just lost his fastball. But for me, I would just say that Dennis Eckersley lost his confidence. He had a couple of bad years in a row, and he just had problems believing in himself.
At his foul left side, the count will go even at 2-2. This will be his first start ever against the Padres, so you would have to think that the early advantage would go to Eckersley. There's fly ball left center field. Bobby Dernier right there. That is 1 away.
I tend to agree with you on that, Donnie. You know, for me as a hitter, I don't like to face a guy that I don't know anything about. I would rather face a fellow that I've faced many times. That way I know what he's going to do to me. I know what to look for, whether he's going to work me fastball, curveball, inside or out. I think it should work to his advantage.
Well, with Eckersley on the mound, would you look in or out because he goes both places? So did you just try to think with him on every pitch?
Yes, I would, Earl. He tries to stay away from me. That's been his pattern. I faced him 7-8 years, and he tried to throw me a breaking ball in the dirt once in a while and stay away with a fastball.
Tony Gwynn takes his strike. Well, you see, since the All-Star break, Eckersley right there with that 2.06 ERA. Hershiser followed by Roden, Thurman, and Gooden. Line drive, right center field. That's a base hit and maybe more. Dernier moving over in a hurry. Gwynn on his way for 2. The throw going to be close. Got it down.
I'll tell you, the way Bobby Dernier made it a close play,
He did a heck of a job. He made an excellent play.
Gwynn picks up his second hit of the series.
All right, we get it. The ball's hit real hard. It looks like it might go by for a triple. Denier off with the crack of the bat, got the ball spun and made a decent throw into second base, and that's a long throw. It didn't look like it was going to be close, and he had Gwynn sliding.
He made a great play just to make it close, Earl.
Here's Steve Garvey. One out, one on. Pop right side. Moving over Durham. Over is Davis. Durham calling. It's Durham for the catch. Gwynn goes halfway, and he will hold right there. There was nobody at second base.
Batting fourth.
So Garvey fouls to Durham, and that'll bring on Greg Nettles. Here's one man in the Padre lineup that does know Eckersley.
Yes, he does. He played against them with the Yankees there for several years, and I've seen him hit home runs off Dennis Eckersley to left and to right field.
And Nettles is a pretty good low ball hitter.
327 down both lines here at Jack Murphy Stadium. 370 to the power alleys. 405 to straightaway center field. They brought the fences in here in San Diego from the spot where they had them when the Padres first came into existence. 0-1 the count to Nettles.
It'd be interesting to see, to me, how they pitch Greg Nettles. Usually when you get older, like a guy like myself, you're 38 years old, Greg Nettles 39, 40 years old. A lot of times they just try to pump fastballs by you, and sometimes that doesn't work.
And the change outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. The infield, they're deep to the right. The outfield the same. There you see the defensive alignment. Saywell backing off the line. Over to his left is short. Sandberg out in the grass in right field. Bounce right side. Durham on the big hop. He'll go to the bag and do it himself. And the Padres are retired. No runs on a hit. They leave 1, and after 1 from San Diego, there's no battle. All right, Timmy, as Keith Moreland leads it off here in the second inning, takes a fastball high, the count 1-0. It'll be Moreland, Say, and Davis. Keith is 3 for 7 in the series with the RBI, as you see right there. And the breaking pitch in and over. That outside part of the plate, and the count goes even at 1-1.
Well, I've been impressed with Whitson's change and with his breaking ball that he's been able to keep on the outside half of the plate.
Push foul right side, and the count 1-2.
That's a pretty good statistic right there. You see on 4 days rest, he's been 8 and 3, and it's just funny for me how pitchers, statistics just seem to stick with them. They just seem to work well for them. When they're on 5 days rest, they do certain things. On 3 days rest, they do others.
If you were in a different sport, that's why they print the racing form.
Just outside, Whitson missing with a sinker, and the count 1 and check that 2-2.
But that's one of the reasons that exactly what you said, why I used him so much when I was managing.
Yeah, what, the racing form?
Not the racing form.
There's a line drive by Nettles down the left field line. That's going to go for extra bases. Martinez chasing it in the corner, and Moreland goes to second base with a leadoff double.
Now, right here, I'd like to say, Moreland, in the first 2 games, and I'm sure the scouting report says with 2 strikes, he goes to right field. Whitson tried to go inside with him. He got the bat out in front and hit it down the left field line, which is out of character.
Well, a lot of times, Earl, players that are smart, players that study scouting reports, I paid attention to scouting reports a great deal during playoffs and World Series times, because you definitely can expect the kind of pitches that they say will get you out.
That's
during
exactly
the playoffs
right.
and World Series, and I'm sure that Keith Moreland was probably looking for that pitch.
There's the change up high to Say, hitting 240. 2 for 6 on the year. Say has not had the best record against Whitson. You saw a little bit ago at 133, the breaking pitch outside. 2-0 the count. Saw that first pitch by Whitson, that palm ball, the change. He did that, picked up the pitch literally by accident. The clubhouse last year between games of a doubleheader, he cut his finger twisting off a bottle cap. Takes a little bit off right there, the breaking pitch. And he couldn't grip the breaking ball. That game, he went 9 innings, held the ball between the thumb and the forefingers, and all of a sudden he comes up with a new pitch. Now, I would not recommend that for everybody.
Donnie, let me ask you this question. Being a big 6'6" sidearmer like you were, I see Ed Whitson leaning over to the side against right-handers. I'm sure he's making it tough on him.
Well, the biggest thing that what you can do right there, Reggie, I always did like Whitson is doing right there, worked off the right-hand side of the rubber. I threw a little bit across my body anyway, and then if you try and move that ball over to the outside corner and you have the control out there, it makes it just a little bit tougher if you can maintain that angle.
Makes it tougher for the right-hander to hold that hitter. Shoulder in.
Control's the secret.
There's a base hit into center field. Moreland not a lot of speed. They're going to wave him off. Mick Reynolds throw to the plate. Not in time. Moreland scores. 1-0 Chicago.
The center of the Cub lineup has been doing what San Diego hasn't. They get the man on second base. 3, 4, 5, and 6 have been getting them in. Here we get to see it. It's a pitch that was supposed to get out just a little bit further than it did. 3/4 of the plate, and Say got it.
That ball is up and out over the plate, Earl. And there you see deposits in the center field.
Well, a good throw, they throw him out. That was not a good throw at all. That ball died out there.
Well, sometimes when you come up with that ball out of the gloves, you get it cross seams. You don't have time to set it with the pitcher, and it looked like he charged it. He got everything he had behind it, but the ball tailed off on the way into home plate. It was not a good throw.
Now, Norm Sherry, the pitching coach, has been out to the mound as he will have that chat with Whitson and automatically work in the bullpen. Here it is again. Look at the throw.
We see Kevin McReynolds set himself, unleash the ball, and the throw is just up the line. It's just not a good throw. It's off the mark. And bingo, the Cubs got a run.
Here's Jody Davis as he takes a strike with a fastball. Well, both pitches to Moreland and Say. Whitson got up, and he's not going to be effective high. Dravecki and Hawkins in the bullpen, a left-hander and a right-hander right away, as Dick Williams knows there's no tomorrow. Good change. To the count.
There's talking the bad situation to be in, but you can't mess around now.
I was talking to Dick Williams before the game, and he felt it imperative that the Padres get a lead.
They have not had a lead in the series. Outside the count, 1-2. I gotta believe if I'm Whitson and you have his type of stuff, you got to be staying down and away a lot more than what he's doing right now. Any success he's had tonight has been down and away. He got hurt right here in this inning. Both pitches were up.
Well, he's tried to get down and away. He's missed a number of times. Again, Don, it goes back to that control that you're talking about. If you're ahead, you can afford to be a little bit finer. But when you drop behind, you want that strike, and it just doesn't go where you want it to go.
Right there, 3 or fewer runs in 25 and 31 starts, and he's down 1-0 here tonight.
He has pitched well. He has pitched well.
That's a token throw because Say isn't going anywhere, or at least I wouldn't think he is.
Jimmy Fry down in that dugout. You see Dennis Eckersley grabbing a bat. Something a little new for Dennis over here in the National League. There's a bad change. Hook foul down in the corner. Out of play. And of course, if Jimmy Fry should win this ball game, that man right there will be the first man since Alvin Dark to win pennants in both leagues. Yogi Berra was another, and Joe McCarthy was the other. And
that's only because
there's a ground ball base hit left field. So Say to second. He'll hold right there. Martinez gets it back in. So Moreland, Say, and Davis with the hits. And the Cubs threaten again.
Don, that's only because Earl Weaver told me earlier today that he has not managed yet in the National League.
That's right. And here we get it in super slow motion. Again, you can see him trying to go to the outside half of that plate. We can see it real well there. The ball center of the plate out, but not on the outside corner. And it's driven in the hole into left field. And the one thing I wanted to say about Jim Fry, you know, we're talking about him winning a pennant in an American League and National League. He'll be the only man in baseball history ever to do it his first year in the league, managing in the league.
That is something, too, as Larry Boa stands in. Pops that foul, backing out of play. Here's a big man for Whitson, because you've got Boa, followed by Eckersley, and then the leadoff hitter. You almost want to go into Dernier at least with 2 outs. That bunt attempt fouled away.
That's unusual there. With the pitcher coming up, I wouldn't expect Larry Boa to be bunting.
I think he might have been trying to catch Nettles back a little bit. The Padres have drawn 1,983,904. Their biggest record, their all-time record crowd here at Jack Murphy Stadium is 52,134, but that will fall tonight.
Yeah, and well, you wonder about that bunt as the pitch comes in and a pop out to second base, but you wonder why Bo would be bunting in that situation. Bo only has 17 RBIs for the year. He's trying to beat that ball out for a base hit and keep the rally going.
I guess they didn't figure as though that ball was high enough for an infield fly. You thought that all of a sudden Templeton might have been able to let that ball drop. They could have had at least a pair.
Well, that's right. And that's amateur umpiring.
Now here's Eckersley hitting 109 on the year with an RBI. On deck, Bobby Dernier. The Padres were looking for the bunt, and Eckersley showed no signs of bunting. He had that whole left side open. Now Templeton has got a new sign from the bench as he flashes it on the infield to see exactly what kind of a defensive alignment they want to move. There's a bunt attempt. If they let it go, they can let it drop. It's 2. How many times do you see that happen?
Oh, we worked on that one in spring training. You work on it, and finally the situation happens where if the pitcher lets the ball hit the ground, he can go to second to first to double play. Invariably, the player will forget to catch the ball.
Well, right there, if you let Greg Nettles catch that ball, then I'm sure that Greg is thinking to let this ball drop. But Whitson excited. He wants to get the out. There you see him grab the ball. Greg Nettles laying back. And he looked like he wanted to let the ball drop.
Well, you know Greg wanted to let it drop, and then all of a sudden after that he's just going to get out of the way and not interfere with him. And boy, you see that happen not only here but so many times throughout the course of the year. Bobby Dernier takes a strike, and the count is 0-1. 1-0, and the Cubs are on top.
Mr. Whitson can make it all academic right now if he'll just go after this hitter.
But I'll guarantee you, Dick Williams is saying we worked on that spring play and spring training also. He's wondering why they didn't let it drop.
Outside, the breaking pitch, 1-1 the count. Whitson already has thrown 40 pitches. There's a change and a line drive, soft liner to Templeton, and that'll do it. From the side retired, but the Cubs come up with a run on 3 hits. They leave a pair. After 1.5, they lead it 1-0. As we go to the bottom of the second inning, and it will be Terry Kennedy to lead it off. Kennedy takes a strike, 0-1 the count. He has taken the collar in the series, as you see, 0 for 7.
Be interesting to see to me how he works Kennedy. Eckersley has trouble with left-handers throwing the ball inside, and Kennedy likes the ball away.
Kennedy yesterday in that final out of the ball game with Lee Smith, of course, Smith can supply a lot of power himself. There, he just reached out. There's another change out there. 1-2 the count, and just kind of laid the bat on the ball and took Cotto right to the wall. You think, what if he'd have turned it loose a little bit? What might have happened?
The Reds, the first 3 pitches were outside.
Here's a one-hopper hit to ball. Routine play for the veteran shortstop, and he throws him out.
What Fry has told us before the series started was that they're not a spectacular defensive club, but they get the sure outs. And so far in this series, that's what they've done. They've been sure on almost all the balls hit to them.
I know when I played with the Yankees, we had a man over there named Bucky Dent. Didn't have great range, didn't make spectacular plays, but every out to him was an out.
Here's Kevin McReynolds, and he hits it off the end of the bat to the right side. There's Sandberg, and there's 2 gone.
That's what I always feel defensively is the important thing. Make your outs, outs. Don't give teams 4 outs in an inning or 5 outs in an inning.
Exactly. You can't give Major League clubs that many outs without getting hurt.
Spectacular play is neat to look at, but just let my outs be outs.
And if you don't do that, you get to the big part of that lineup too often.
Here's Carmelo Martinez. 2 for 7 in the series. On the year, he hit 250, 13 home runs, and 66 RBI. The lights are on here at Jack Murphy Stadium and starting to take effect a little bit. Eckersley missing outside. The count 1-0. Boy, if that isn't beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous as you look out towards the Pacific. Change is high. The count 2-0. Out of play. Well, a roar in the background as the San Diego Chicken has come out to try and
That's the San Diego Chicken, or is that the man that knows he's got tickets in the front row?
That's it.
Is that Euchre?
I don't know. Of course, I've seen him like that a few times. Inside, the count goes full at 3-2, and on deck, Gary Templeton. Trying to work a little bit and yank that back in. That's hit to left field, down the line, moving back is Matthews, still to the wall, He's there to make the catch.
Where was that one in Wrigley?
Gone, maybe. The wind's blowing out, so we're through 2, 1-0 Chicago.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down it, I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
Come on.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy? He missed the tag. He missed the tag.
All right, Timmy, thank you very much. And the count 0-2 to the leadoff hitter, Ryan Sandberg.
Bill Giles was an honest man when he said he wished he would have made a couple of those trades, but they had their year last year. They won the National League pennant.
Well, we're going to have to check on that last deal to see which it was with the Phillies and the Cubs. I'm trying to think of that might have been the Matthews-Dernier deal.
That was it.
That was it.
I think there's a lot of teams could have won that division or any division if they'd have had Sutcliffe and Eckersley.
Way outside, the count 1-2.
You get 2 guys that go 26 and 9 for you. I think there's a lot of teams that could have won it.
And Eckersley pitched in tough luck all year.
Two balls and 2 strikes to count. And this is one of the former Phillies right here. Young man who's having himself quite a year, does not get the breaking pitch, and is down on strike.
Breaking ball 3-2 with a little bit off of it. That's the way you win ball games.
As we get a look at the pitch again, as Big Ed Whitson comes around over the top this time, you can see the rotation of that baseball. Almost looks like the bottom falls out of that ball as he swings and misses.
Here's Gary Matthews. Sends it high, right side, foul. Garvey moving over right to the box seat railing and fighting the tarp, can't get it.
You know, there's been a lot of trades really over the years. You take people like Frank Robinson, and when I left the Yankees the first year I was in Anaheim, I had 39 home runs, but I think it's over the long haul that people like that make trades, and to go on and blast a guy. I remember when they traded Jack Sanford a long time ago over to the San Francisco Giants from the Phillies. He had a great year as well, won over 20 ball games.
Sometimes an organization is just strong in one position, and there's not much you can do about it. You can only option them back 4 times.
He got away with a high fastball right there.
This is not the first time it'll happen to an organization, and it won't be the last. Look at all the people that Baltimore got in 1976 from the Yankees.
Yes, they still got starters from that play. And yet, it helped the Yankees win the division that particular year that the trade was made.
Just outside. A little high, 1-2 to count.
Getting back to that trade, it's typical Jose Martinez, Rick Dempsey,
Scott
McGregor. And you've forgotten who went over to the Yankees, but they helped them win in 1976.
Boy, you talk about irony. As far as Chicago is concerned, they've won 98 games this year, including the 2 postseason games. The last Cubs team to win more than 98 games in one season were the 1945 Cubs. They won 98 regular season games and 3 in the World Series. First, they came up 1 short to the Tigers. High, 3-2.
Are you trying to say that this is the year of the Cubs?
Boy, I'll tell you, they have had so many things going their way, and you just got to take your cap off to them. They really have had a great year. Watching. Well, Whitson had him 0-2 and loses him.
Last 2 hitters, 3-2. Got one, lost the other one.
You never know. You never know. It's never over until it's over. Remember in 1982, over there in Milwaukee?
Yes, I do.
The Angels leading 3-2, leading 2-0. We go in there, and again, in the 7th or 8th inning, we were still leading that ball game. Had a chance to go to the World Series. It was taken right out, just snapped right out of the cupboard. Cecil Cooper with a base hit, and all of a sudden we go home.
Well, you saw that. Only 3 walks in the last 6 starts, and of course, he's walked 2 already here tonight as Leon Durham stands in high. Shallow center. McReynolds, lots of room. 2 gone.
Leon Durham, one of the very good low ball hitters in baseball, just popped up that high fastball, let her high.
You know, the thing about Leon Durham, he's a little bit aggressive right now, maybe a little bit too aggressive, as we see the pitch from Ed Whitson. He goes after a ball that's really not his pitch. That ball is up and out of the strike zone. A low ball hitter. A little bit too excited right now, I think, maybe.
Oh, yes. They get anxious.
Here's Keith Moreland. He led off the 2nd inning with a double. Eventually scored on a base hit by Ron Say. Say driving in his 3rd RBI of the championship series. And that's where we stand, 1-0 Chicago. The breaking pitch down and away. Boy, I'll tell you, that is absolutely beautiful. Just beautiful. That's fouled right side. The count moves on to 1-2. Well, it appears that we've seen a go-around as far as the Cubs are concerned in the lineup. The Padres have 2 more men to go, Templeton and Whitson. And home plate umpire Terry Vogley. He's evidently settled in on the strike zone. The players have settled in themselves.
It was a tough first inning. Of course, Matthews caused a lot of it by backing out of their box.
Out in front, Kennedy out in a hurry and makes the play to Garvey. That'll do it for the Cubs in the 3rd.
Bill Giles, in our recent conversation with him, said that the most damaging trade that they made was the Dernier and Matthews trade. Do you agree with that?
Well, it helped us considerably getting out of the chute, Timmy. We had a lousy spring training. We had to get something to juice us up. Matthews and Dernier did that for us.
And what about the pitchers that are concerned with this ball club? Not too bad a staff.
Well, we got those done a little later. We had to trade Buckner and some kids away to do it. But we got Eckersley and Sutcliffe and Frazier and Stoddard, and we got the job done.
Do you feel like you picked your ex-boss's pocket?
We have a good rapport with Philadelphia. I know those guys, and I knew that they weren't going to be able to use Dernier, and I thought that Matthews might be available because he had some contract problems.
Dallas Green, general manager of the Chicago Cubs. Thank you very much, Steve. Now let's go back to the booth to Don Drysdale.
All right, thank you very much, Timmy. And Dallas, as the count is 2-2 to the leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the 3rd, Gary Templeton, as they get the wave moving around here in San Diego. Boy, they've got a full house. They can get it rocking. 1-0, the Cubs on top. A run on 3 hits for Chicago. No runs on 1 hit for San Diego. Play left side, the count remains 2-2.
Well, that rapport between Dallas Green and Philadelphia will continue, but the trades won't. I can bet on that. The trades will not continue.
No.
Really? No.
You'd have to put a 30 at the bottom of that. A final. End of story. That's the left field. And giving ground is Matthews, but he'll have a play. And there's one away. And that'll bring on the pitcher, Ed Whitson.
I think that sooner or later the Padres are going to have to get something going. Whitson is doing a job right now. He has slowed the Cubs down. They've only got 1 run. the Padres have to get something going. I don't care if it's a base on balls or get a man on base with an error or steal second or something. They've got to get some movement.
Well, you know, you just heard from Dallas Green with our colleague Tim McCarver, and I'll tell you something that is absolutely amazing when you think about this. Lee Smith and Henry Cotto are the only players signed and developed in the Cubs farm system. Amazingly, 20 on this 25-man roster were acquired by trades, and 8 of them were former Phillies. Off the end of the bat, Ronsay to his left, on across to Durham, and there's 2 gone. In the meantime, the Cubs are on top 1-0.
Fans feel like you do, Reggie. They got to get something going.
Exactly.
They've got to get going in a hurry, and maybe that's one of the reasons for the wave.
I don't know. You know, sometimes I think this year when I've been hitting and been at the plate, I've wondered about the wave. It kind of distracted me, to be very honest with you. You like to see the fans get involved, and you certainly do want them to help you because I do believe that they can. But I think it distracted me once or twice. I'm not big on it when I'm hitting.
Here's Wiggins as he checks the bunt, takes low. I've often wondered about that because I've had something similar to that as before the wave ever came in. But about the pitcher standing back there, and all of a sudden when you throw and release, about the time they come up from behind home plate trying to pick that ball up, a bunt. And I don't know if they will get it. They won't get anybody.
That's exactly what they need.
That was perfectly executed. Once it got by Eckersley and Durham had to make the play, no chance.
What a perfect bunt. We see it high here from the third base side. Put in a perfect spot. There's nobody that can get to first base quicker than Alan Wiggins can now, once he got that ball down where he did.
You know, Dick Williams made a big point before the ball game. I almost thought it was unfair of him to say it, but he felt that Gwynn and Wiggins had to get on base. They've got some excitement now.
They've got Wiggins there, and he'll be standing on second as quickly as he possibly can because he's going to try to run.
Well, watch the high leg kick of Eckersley and see if he tries to counter in any way. There's that little just short toss. He never did before in the American League.
Tony Gwynn has hit .413 when Alan Wiggins has been on base. And the big reason for that is because he can hit anybody's fastball. And to try to throw a base runner out at second base, you're going to get a lot of fastballs.
You would have to think that, boy, you think that isn't a delight for a second-place hitter.
Well, that's true. And sometimes sitting in the dugout when I was managing, I'd almost say to myself, let him go and get your hitter out. There's 2 outs. You'd want to say that. It's not the right thing to say, but I said it to myself a million times. And we can see Dennison going over to first base time after time. You know that Wiggins is on his mind.
Well, Wiggins at first, and here's what Alan Wiggins had to say about running on Dennis Eckersley.
From what I understand, Eckersley comes from the side, so he's got to get a little action on his motion. So he's going to be a little easier than Sutcliffe to run on.
Again, and Eckersley certainly aware of that.
Yes, that's why you see so many throws over there to first base. He knows he doesn't have a great move. He knows he has the high leg kick to be effective. So he's going to try to keep Alan Wiggins over there as close as he possibly can.
You see Gwynn thinking he might go too. I think it'll take a little load off of Gwynn's shoulders when you get a man over there like that.
Well, Wiggins is going to go when he gets the jump. He's going to go when he feels like he can make it and not until then.
This is what makes baseball great, that's for sure, Donnie.
Well, I think what he might have wanted to do right there is take a look at one pitch. There he goes, a little late jump. The throw, got him. A late jump by Wiggins. He did not get a good jump at all, and Jody Davis had it on the money.
All right, we get the jump. I'll tell you, Dennis Eckersley didn't worry about it to the hitter. He cut that leg kick down, and as a result, Wiggins wasn't going. He slides into second base. A perfect throw. He tags him out. We'll be back.
1-0 Chicago. Ronsay takes down low. They appeal. They say no. Well, that's the first appeal that we've seen in this series, I believe.
I don't remember any. And I don't think he swung at the ball. We'll have to see. Went out after, but didn't go across the plate.
2-0 the count to Say. Had the base hit after the double by Moreland in the second inning to put the Cubs on top 1-0, and that's where we stand. On deck, Jody Davis. Pop right side. Garvey will have a play in foul territory. Out number 1. And a reminder that the National League Championship Series, an ABC Sports exclusive, is being brought to you by Bud Light. For all you do, this Bud's for you. One away to Jody Davis, single in the hole between third and short, his first time at bat.
The catcher, Jody Davis.
The Cubs with 3 hits and the Padres with 2.
Davis having a good series, and as far as I can remember, that was the first man thrown out stealing in the series.
Have not been a lot of attempts, really.
Say he has really improved in his throwing and his all-around defense. He's digging more balls out of the dirt. And they just feel on the Cubs that he's a lot more relaxed.
That Johnny Oates has helped him considerably. He just threw that ball by him. 0-2 the count. Oates has spent hours and hours studying videotape isolation plays of Davis in his throwing, and it's helped. There's no question about that. Foul right side, 0-2 the count. Every game they'll go over the hitters. Oates, Davis, and that day's starter. And they've gotten the job done, I'll say that for him.
Johnny Oates is an intelligent man. He came through the Baltimore Oriole organization as a minor leaguer. A great person.
Good breaking pitch, and Davis is gone.
Got that big sidearm motion right now. Big step out to the side. He's really throwing the ball well, and it's working real good for him.
Well, that'll be coming your way this Saturday on ABC. You'll see either the Cornhuskers of Nebraska and the Oklahoma State Cowboys have a 4-0 record, or the battle of the SEC rivals Georgia and Alabama. And, of course, a week from Saturday, the #1 ranked Texas Longhorns battle the #3 Oklahoma Sooners. Right here on ABC at 3:30 Eastern Time. High pop. Wiggins says he'll take it. And Templeton moves alongside. He makes the catch, and Boa retired. The Cubs are gone in the 4th. No runs, no hits. A full house right here at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. A beautiful complex. The Cubs on top 1-0, and we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. And it'll be Tony Gwynn who is at bat when Wiggins was cut down trying to steal to end the 3rd. Gwynn, Garvey, and Nettles.
Outstanding hitter right here. 351, 213 base hits. He's got great quickness. I mentioned the other day on the telecast, he used a 32.5-inch, 31-ounce bat. And I don't know anyone using a smaller bat than that. Lengthwise, anyway.
Over the outside corner, 0-1. He doubled up the alley in right center field his first time at bat. Slight breeze blowing out. Loop foul left side, and Eckersley's out in front, 0-2.
He is a Rod Carew type, a Cecil Cooper type, not quite as much power. A George Brett type. He uses the whole diamond. So if you're a young fellow, as we look at his wife, Alicia, if you're a young fellow watching this ball game and you want to pattern yourself after a good hitter, this is the man to look at.
He really dives into the ball.
Pulled on the right side and through by Sandberg.
Yeah, that'll bring a different reaction from Alicia, I'm sure. There it is. You know, that pitch right there, he tried to get that ball inside the same way he threw the other pitch, way inside. Jody Davis was sitting on the inside corner, and he mashed it through the right side of the diamond. Quickness. There it is. Mashes that ball right by Ryan Sandberg.
Well, that ball just picked up speed going through there. He has something to laugh about now as Steve Garvey stands in. He fouled the first. 0 for 1. 1-0. Cubs on top. Gwynn with good speed also. He has 33 stolen bases on the year.
1-2 hitters have been on 3 out of 4 times tonight. Now it's up to the center of the lineup, the big guys, like you said, Rich.
Well, that's exactly right, Earl. They've got to get the job done. Whitson's doing a good job holding the offense down of the Chicago Cubs.
Off the end of the bat, could be 2. Boa to Sandberg for 1, and they turn it over, the double play. So they went to the 2-0 breaking pitch, and Garvey hit it off the end of the bat.
It's amazing how many good pitches the Cub pitchers have made when they're behind. He hit the ball hard, but here again, it didn't find a hole right at Boa.
I don't think he really hit this ball hard, Earl.
Greg Nettles.
What was hit hard enough so that Garvey's not even in the picture yet.
Sure. Now, very quickly, 2 gone as that settles the crowd down just a little bit. And it'll bring on Greg Nettles. High to right center. Nobody sees it. Dernier didn't see it. Moreland didn't see it. Now Dernier sees it and makes a catch. Both of them stood there with their arms out. They could not see it. So the Padres are gone in the 4th, and we're through 4. 1-0 Chicago.
On the fly ball that Greg Nettles hit the center field, you see Moreland. He can't see the ball. Now we go back to Dernier. He can't see it. He then finally keeps his eye on it, gets the bead, and he picks up the baseball and gets the out. I'll tell you, it's about 6:45 out here now in California. It's twilight, and it's a little tough to see when you're an outfielder. This is the toughest time to play in when the ball goes up in the air.
You can see the twilight. It'll be dark in 10 or 50 hours, well, even less than that. We'll say 5 minutes, and the ball won't be quite as hard to see for the outfielders.
And very quickly, it is 0-2 to Dennis Eckersley. On deck, the leadoff hitter, Bobby Dernier, and then Ryan Sandberg. As Eckersley is down on strike. Number 4 for Whitson. We go to the top of the order in Dernier.
I don't care if that was a pitcher or not. There were 3 pretty good pitches.
There's a tough spot looking out west out there, Reggie.
Just right now, that ball is just about the same color as the sky.
Yep.
And that's what makes it so tough to pick up. I know one of the reasons that I used a black bat. Willie Randolph told me that at night, and especially in twilight, it's tough to see the ball come off the bat. I thought it gave me an advantage. That's why Reggie Jackson uses a black bat.
I'll be darned.
That's the first time I ever heard that.
Yeah. Willie Randolph, ask any of your infielders. Willie Randolph, when I was with the Yankees, told me it's tough to pick the ball up off a black bat.
Dernier to the right side. There's Wiggins. On to Garvey, 2 gone.
I always thought it made sense. It's a little tough to see that black bat coming through there at nighttime.
The second baseman, Ryan Sandberg.
Well, there you see the players that have been acquired from the Philadelphia Phillies. Bohr, Dernier, Matthews, Moreland, Ruthven, and Sandberg. And you've got everybody in the lineup tonight except Ruthven. He's a pitcher.
5 of them.
Ryan Sandberg, 0 for 2 tonight. Not on a fielder's choice. He's stolen a base and he struck out. That change, Whitson has made a couple of mistakes inside.
I've continued to be impressed with the way he's pitched tonight, though.
I agree with you, Earl. He is doing his part, Donnie.
Both pitchers have been pitching well. As Sandberg takes the strike, 1-1 the count.
Yeah, they have praised this man, Ryan Sandberg, all year long. I have only had a chance to see him on television, but he sure has shown me an awful lot.
Oh,
he can run, he can throw, he can hit for power, and he can field. He can do everything.
You know, the funny thing about that Philadelphia trade, Sandberg was really not that well known. Dallas Green knew him. They wanted Aguayo, but they were rejected. That's the center field. McReynolds is there, and that will do it. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left, and we're through 4.5 at the halfway point. The Cubs on top, 1-0.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Wrigley Field in Chicago. The first game of the National League Championship Series. The San Diego Padres and the Chicago Cubs.
For the first time in franchise history, the Padres were playing postseason baseball. But in the first 2 games, the Cubs smoked them by a combined score of 17-2. And that left them wondering.
We got beat so bad that we didn't know if we had a chance to win or not. I mean, it was tough.
The Cubs try for a sweep at the series. It'll move to Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California.
Baseball purists would have told you that San Diego Padres pretty much were done.
On the flight back, it was real quiet. A lot of guys are looking in the back of the seats, you know, travel destinations, like where are we going to go when, you know, on vacation, because this doesn't look good.
We came home. Nobody's at the airport. We come out to get our cars out here at the Jack Murphy Stadium, and what happens? About 3,000 to 4,000 people show up, and we can't believe it.
It kind of got us going. It kind of said, wait a minute, these people believe in us.
To see all those fans screaming, hollering, yelling for us, giving us a support, I couldn't be more upbeat.
And when Templeton fed off that energy before Game 3, it got everyone fired up.
Playing shortstop, number 1, Gary Templeton.
I knew that we needed something to get us uplifted and going. So when they announced me, I ran out there and I started screaming at the fans, let's go, screaming at the players, come on, let's go, get excited, man, come on, these fans are getting us up.
When Templeton came out and he waved his hat, I believe that it was then that the Padres and the Padres fans became united.
For him to go out there, it just sent a sense of confidence throughout the club. Hey, yeah, we can do this, and that's what leadership does, and he provided it there.
We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Kennedy to lead it off. Takes down and away. Want to know the count. Bounced to short his first time at bat. Inside 2-0.
Kennedy didn't have a good year, but they have to count on him. He was part of their offense, and he's 0 for 8 in the series up to now.
Well, if he's going to do anything, Earl, I think he's got to do it against Eckersley here because he's pitching him right where he wants the baseball. There's the ball inside.
And a base hit to the hole, right side.
That's one of the first balls he's pulled to right field. He's been hitting the ball to left field. Dennis Eckersley changed his pattern, and it says on the scouting report that Eckersley does not have success throwing the ball inside the left-hand hitter.
A lot of times from the angle that Eckersley will come from, coming strictly from the side, Reggie, as you will know, and that ball is tailing all the time, it's going to tail back over the plate to where the hitter can get the bat on the ball.
Exactly. It is much easier to follow the baseball from a sidearm right-hander when you're a left-hand hitter.
Here's Kevin McReynolds, bounce to second his first time at bat. Takes a strike, and we get some action again in the Padre bullpen as Dick Williams is thinking down the line. He might need a pinch hitter as Dave Dravecky gets up and starts to throw again.
And boy, would it be tough to have to take Ed Whitson out of this ball game.
This young man right here, as you look at Dravecky in the bullpen, 0 for 5 on the series.
It's one decision you wouldn't have to make in the American League, but Dick Williams right now, he wants that run in before he gets down to that number 9 spot in the lineup. Then he can leave him in.
Right through the wickets as Kennedy goes to second. He'll stop right there. Looked over at Ozzie Virgil, and Virgil very quickly held the hands up and said, no, sir, not with Dernier out in center field.
As Earl said earlier, the Padres need base hit, base hit, base hit in a row, and here's an opportunity for it. There's a ball right between his leg, right between the pearly gates.
And a little bit of managerial strategy coming up here. If I'm managing, I don't want to sacrifice here, and it's not because I don't like the bunt. But I want to get that run in so I can leave my pitcher in the game. I'd try to let Martinez or Templeton drive them in.
Is going through the signs to Sandberg, Say, and his infielders, letting them know what defensive play that they want to use in case of a bunt.
Almost all clubs now have 3 different things they'll do. There's Frazier warming up the bullpen for the Cubs, but they've got one where the third baseman will charge. They've got one where the first baseman will charge. They've got one where both the third baseman and first baseman will charge. But again, if I were Dick Williams, I'd want that run in so I could leave Whitson in the ballgame.
Here's Martinez, fly deep to left. This first time at bat, he's going to bunt it, fouls it away.
There's the play there where the third baseman covers the bunt, the shortstop goes to second, the second baseman covers first, and the first baseman charges, and they've got others.
In that, the pitcher is supposed to take care of the territory between the mound and third base. We'll see what they put on right now.
0-1 the count. Well, Dick Williams, too, Earl, could be thinking, he says, the Cubs have never been headed. We haven't even been even except from the first pitch. First inning. We'll see what he wants to do here.
Here comes Durham.
A little looper, and there's the infield fly. Sandberg will take it, and that is out number 1. Now you've got a load of potatoes on the back of Gary Templeton.
That's a tough one there, right there. Carmelo Martinez really did not do the job. He did not advance the runners. He's got to hit that ball, ground ball to the right side of the diamond, or if it's going to be a fly ball, it's got to be deep enough to advance those runners into scoring position so that you have those 7 chances in order to get a run home from third base with 1 out.
He did not have a real good swing at that pitch at all. Here's Templeton. Gary fly to left his first time at bat. That's hit up the alley, left center field, and they're in a hurry. He can't get it. It'll go to the wall. Here comes Kennedy. Here comes McReynolds. No throw. Padres lead it 2-1 and a double by Templeton.
Eckersley does not get the ball inside. The ball tails back over the plate, and Templeton's got a big double, and the San Diego Padres have 2 runs in, and now Dick Williams gets a chance to leave Ed Whitson in the ballgame.
Well, that's what I'd have been shooting for all along. I'll tell you, if he'd have bun him over, they might have walked Templeton. And Templeton's a fellow who had 200 hits in the major leagues one year, 100 right-handed, 100 left-handed. Not this year, but 1 year in the major league.
Boy, that is so true, Earl, because Jimmy Fry very easily, and I'm sure you've done it before when they have the pitchers hitting in the American League and things like that in your managerial career, you'll make the opposing manager make a move. Either stay or make a move.
I would have wanted Whitson out of the ball game, the way he's throwing the ball.
Whitson stays in the ball game. He bounced to third his first time at bat, 0 for 1. Templeton at second base. Good speed. La Looper, and right there is Sandberg. So when you go back and check your fingernails right there.
That one had to hurt.
Did you ever do that?
Oh, yes, I've done it. I've done it a lot of times. I remember one day I was playing against the Chicago White Sox, and I hit a fly ball to the pitcher.
Well, the Padres on top 2-1, and I mentioned before, they have never headed the Cubs except from the opening pitch, and now the first time that they have taken a lead.
What Dick Williams thought was so important to get ahead, then they get a chance to use their most important weapon.
Speed. Speed and gossip.
Speed and gossip.
Well, there's speed and gossip.
There sure is 100 miles an hour work.
Wiggins. A bunt single his last time at bat. Now Allen will just back out and just collect himself a little bit. This crowd has come alive. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Padres. A run on 3 hits, no errors for the Cubs. A strike and a count 0-1.
So a lot of times they talk about crowds should wake up, crowds should come to the ballpark. There's only one way to put people in the ballpark and only one way to make it excited. You got to win to put people in the park, and you got to do something to make them excited.
That's exactly right.
And this is the first time in the series that San Diego has gotten 3 hits in 1 inning.
Kennedy led off with a single to right. McReynolds hit a line drive single back to the legs of Eckersley. Martinez popped his second. Templeton doubled up the alley in left center. There's a base hit center field. Here comes Templeton around third. Dernier. Good arm. Throw off. Cut off by Durham. Back to Sandberg. They get him, but the run score. And it's 3-1 San Diego.
Notice the important thing right there. You saw Gary Templeton continuing to run home, because if he does not cross home plate before they tag the runner out at second base, he does not score. Here's the pitch, smacked into center field, a line drive. Dernier charges hard, comes up throwing, makes a good quick throw. It's offline. Templeton hustles all the way over, and now the player's out, but it doesn't matter.
And it's 3-1 the Padres. We'll be back after this word.
We take a look at the play again. Alan Wiggins singles sharply to center field. Bobby Dernier makes a great charge and a good throw. Cut off by Durham. The important thing there, Gary Templeton kept running to make sure that he crossed that plate before Bobby Dernier was before Alan Wiggins was tagged out.
Exactly, and right there, Gary Matthews jumped on the first pitch and lines it to left, and the Cubs are trying to fight their way back. 3-1 the Padres on top.
And something else about the last play of the last half inning. The Cubs got themselves out of that inning without having to get a man out at home plate. They took the sure out at second base.
Here's Leon Durham, and you get action in the bullpen for the Padres. There's a strike, and the count is 0-1. So the leadoff single by Matthews. Durham is 0 for 2. His line to short, and he's fly to center.
Durham so far has not been patient in this series. He's been swinging at balls that just aren't his. Are not in his zone. That one was.
That one was, and he hooked it foul. Boy, he's got a big hole to shoot through on that right side. He's been pulling that ball a lot to the right side. Hit a few balls, about 3 or 4, 5 to the opposite field. Should be 2. Wiggins to Templeton for 1, and they double him up.
And how quickly the fortunes in baseball can change.
Templeton has come to play, Donnie. He has come to play today. He's got fire in his eyes.
Well, I'll tell you, he got Matthews down in a hurry at second base, and with his arm, you don't want to stand there and challenge that little white pill. There's Keith Moreland. He has put the Cubs on the board. A leadoff double in the second inning, scored on a single by Say. That's when the Cubs bunched 3 of their base hit, the double by Moreland, a single by Say, and a single by Davis. There's a strike, and the count is 0-1.
That's when a pitcher's confident. You see him start that hitter off with a breaking ball.
There you could see what Kennedy and Whitson looking into Kennedy saying, what did I do, get out in here too much? Kennedy saying, yeah, get up on top and make that breaking pitch. Just get it down a little bit.
I'm sure also done what they're thinking right now. If they can just get to the 7th inning, they know they got the big guy in the pen.
Foul right side.
You know, when I played against Gossage, when you had a guy like a Gossage on your team, when you had a guy like Raleigh Fingers on your team, you knew that when you went out on the field in the 7th inning with a lead, you knew whether you played against him or whether you had him on your team that you were going to win that ball game.
And there he is, standing in the bullpen waiting for his chance.
Checked on his swing. They appeal. They call him out, and Moreland throws a bat in the gap. Oh, boy, is he lucky, because he would not be around with the regular umpires intact. And here comes Jimmy Fry out. He can't argue the strike.
Sure, and I think that the umpires are aware of that. I think the regular umpires are aware of that kind of thing.
The side retired as Fry goes back. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and the Padres on top, 3-1.
Good low outside breaking pitch. Moreland's bat goes across the plate. Now there's going to be an appeal. The appeal down to first base, the call on strike 3, the throwing of the bat, and sometimes that earns you an early exit.
And Tony Gwynn will lead it off here in the bottom of the inning for the Padres. It's the bottom of the 6th. The Padres on top, 3-1. On the corner, and the count, a ball and a strike. Well, Dick Williams came out and talked to the home plate umpire. Earl, what do you think was on his mind?
Well, Fry went down to the first base umpire. He gave an appeal, and if the rules is in the regular season, you cannot appeal a ball and strike out of the dugout. And I think Dick Williams wanted Fry ejected from the ballgame.
Very much so, and it very easily. He's talking to Ed Vargo over there now. There's Eddie Vargo, one of the National League supervisors, and they're going to might make an appeal right here. Williams is after Vargo. There's a base hit left field.
Well, I'll tell you, you knew it wasn't going to last for long. Anybody that's hitting 350, 351, this man came into the ball game with 1 base hit. You know that's not going to last very long. He's hit the ball on the nose 3 times. And here's Mr. Garvey.
Garvey tonight has fouled to first and hit into a double play.
And Steve would like to say hello to his 2 beautiful girls, Tricia and Whitney, in New York. Daddy says hi. Daddy would like to do something for you tonight.
That's exactly right. Gwynn's at first, nobody out. 3-8-0 for the Padres, 1-4-0 for the Cubs. There goes the runner. Bouncer right side, Sandberg over. Now they go back to first, and they make the play. If Gwynn keeps going, he might go all the way to third. That ball just was not hit hard enough.
Well, it was an outstanding play by Sandberg. He was on his way to cover second base when Gwynn took off. Sandberg had to get Sandberg, you'll see, is on his way to cover second base. The hole's wide open. He recovers. He comes back. He gets it, and if Gwynn would have kept going, he could have went to third base on the play.
He may have thrown him out as well. You know, on that particular play, Gwynn had such a big jump, I'd have liked to have seen Steve hold the bat and not swing.
Nettles takes outside, and the count 1-0.
There was no way that Jody Davis was going to throw Tony Gwynn at that time. He had a 4 or 5 step jump before the ball got to the catcher.
Action in both bullpens. Frazier up for the Cubs. Gossage up for the Padres.
I agree with you on the last play, Reggie, but how quick can you think of it?
Base hit, left center field. That will score Gwynn. Nettles around first. He'll hold right there. It is 4-1 San Diego. So Jimmy Fry making his way to the mound. Frazier has been up for the second inning in a row, and right now, let's go down to our colleague, Tim McCarver.
All right, Don Drysdale, as you can see, George Frazier is the pitcher coming into this series. The only problem that the Cubs had was their inability to bring in a left-handed reliever when he got into trouble, when the starter got into trouble. And now, of course, Greg Nettles and Terry Kennedy are the 2 left-handed hitters to the problem. We'll be back with more in the 6th inning here. Padres up.
He's got a good breaking ball, a real good sinker, and a good hard fastball.
He's got all good stuff, but he's always behind 2-0, it seems like.
Nettles at first, and with that RBI, he ties our colleague. That is fouled away. Career RBIs in League Championship Series. That was RBI number 18. Ties him with the man to my right, Mr. Reggie Jackson.
I tip my cap to him. Congratulations, Greg Nettles.
There you see Nettles, Jackson, Garvey, Say, Bretton Matthews. Pretty good hitters in that group, I'll say that. 2 balls and a strike. One after a bad pitch, and it's 2-2. We get the report that Dick Williams indeed was exactly what you were talking about, Earl. He wanted Fry ejected from the ballgame. There's a shot. Ball can't get it. Dernier up in a hurry. Nettles will stop at second base, and Kennedy's aboard with his second base hit of the night. And it'll bring on Kevin McReynolds.
San Diego Ball Club was just too good to life left for that long a time and not bust loose before it was over.
Well, it's just funny that you look them over in Chicago, they lose a ball game 13-0, they lose another one 4-2, and really when they lost the game 4-2, it looked like they lost it 9-2, where they lost it so one-sided. But now all of a sudden, 24 hours later, maybe even a little less time than 24 hours, they are now a team that has got a lot of fire. They're rolling high, they're riding high. The fans are behind them, and it looks like a whole different ball club.
58,346, the largest crowd ever for Major League Baseball here at Jack Murphy Stadium. And that is a packed house.
And you could see the determination on the San Diego players' faces before the ball game on the field.
Here's McReynolds, 1 for 2 tonight with a run scored. So Nettles at second and Kennedy at first. Not a lot of speed on the bases. Breaking pitch down and away. But indeed, as you look at Dick Williams, you just take your hats off to the fans around the country. And, of course, in Chicago, the Cub fans, and here in San Diego. It's hard for them to realize at times, Reggie and Earl, how much they mean to a Major League ball club and a player out there in a pennant race.
After you play baseball for a long time, I think you realize what fans mean, especially when you know that they can get your adrenaline going. We take a look at this pitch from George Frazier. It is a breaking ball, and it is outside.
The 1-1 pitch. That's outside, and it's 2-1.
It's a good breaking ball, but it doesn't go over the heart of that plate anymore.
Frazier has a type of fastballs. You look at Nettles at second, and Kennedy over at first. Jack Kroll telling him something, the first base coach. His fastball moves all over the plate. It'll sink one time, sail another time. He has really got a lively arm.
It's a good situation to hit in right here. 2 balls, 1 strike. The pitcher struggling. Got to look for a fastball and whale.
Foul right side. That is what a manager does not like to see when a hitter's ahead on the count 2-1.
Come on. You're a pitcher and you're a manager. That's what the hitter wants to see. 2 balls and a strike. Sit back and wait.
Yeah, but don't shake it.
Well, I'd like to say this. One of the reasons that Sutcliffe is 16-1 is you're not going to get the fastball with him at 2 balls and 1 strike.
That's right.
I think there's a pattern in the American League I know that I have found my 17 years I've played in the league is that the successful pitchers are able to get any pitch that they can throw over at any particular time in the count. Curveball, fastball, slider, changeup, they can throw it any time in the count and get it over the plate. And that's why the great ones are successful.
Carmelo Martinez on deck, the 2-2 pitch to McReynolds. Deep to left. Matthews going back to the wall of the warning track. Jumps! It's gone! Home run, Kevin McReynolds, and the Padres have broken it open 7-1.
Get a shot from high above. Kevin McReynolds hits a high fly ball that's got home run written all over it, and I think Gary Matthews knows it. He's just going back there to get a closer look.
Oh, and very close at that. Very close at that.
I saw that smirk on Kevin McReynolds' face when he crossed the plate like, gee, I don't know. Almost, but no cigar, and it's 3 big runs.
There's the young man. 7-1, the Padres on top, and here's Martinez. He takes outside. I'll tell you what, I don't think McReynolds got all of that ball. He got that up towards the trademark a little, and I think that tells you a little of his strength.
I don't know if Frazier wanted to throw the pitch there, but it was in on him a little bit, and it was by the trademark.
Now, I've always felt that for a guy to hit more than 20 home runs in the major leagues, that he had to be able to miss the ball and hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Exactly, as we witnessed right there. Shot to center. Dernier is there. Retreats, makes the catch. And right now, let's go back down to Tim McCormick.
All right, Don, we have Jackie McReynolds with us. Kevin, of course, with a big 3-run home run that may have put this game out of reach. What do you think, Jackie?
I think it's great. I'm so excited. Yay!
Now let's go back up to the booth to Don Drysdale.
Well, there's some happiness and joy in that McReynolds family right there. And this will bring on Templeton, who takes up high. 1-0 the count.
And Templeton, if everything stays the same, will have the game-winning RBI in this game.
Takes the breaking pitch for the strike. Well, I'll tell you, that double that Templeton hit in the 6th inning, it looked like a deer out there in center field, and Bobby Dernier, when he cut across trying to cut that ball off, he really can scoop.
Well, that was the play that turned him around offensively. It got action on the bases. It got people running all over the place, and it created excitement here in San Diego Stadium with the fans and on the bench. It had all kinds of people moving at the same time. You'd be surprised what that does for a ball club.
Also probably will create a 4th game.
High chopper, and Sandberg will go on to Durham, and that will do it. Almost pulled him off the bag. But the Padres come up with 4 big runs on 4 hits. No errors, and they leave nobody. We're through 6 complete from San Diego. The Padres lead it 7-1. Carmelo Martinez on deck. The 2-2 pitch to McReynolds. Deep to left. Matthews going back to the wall of the warning track. Jumps! It's gone! Home run, Kevin McReynolds, and the Padres have broken it open 7-1. Say will lead it off. Takes a strike. Say 1 for 2 has driven in the only Cub run in the 2nd inning. 7-1, the Padres on top. Bounce foul by Don Zimmer. 0-2 the count. Popeye, he'll go get it. That'll That'll get some of the booze off his back for booting that ball. Tell you one thing, you talk about an arm on a man who was a shortstop. That Zimmer could throw the Art Fowler used to say right strawberries through a battleship. Just outside, 1-2 the count. Whitson, we understand now from Little Irwin, Tennessee. There's Popeye. And sometimes people say, why do you call him Popeye? Well, we'll get another look at him and let you be the judge. Popeye. There he is. Look at that jaw. I'll tell you, there was a man that was recruited by the late and great Bear Bryant as a quarterback out of high school in Cincinnati.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir. How to play. That's tomorrow night. It'll be game number 3 from Tiger Stadium. The Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers up 2 games in zip. That is 8 o'clock Eastern, and it appears that we've got a good chance if it stays the way it is, coming right back here on Saturday.
They've got it going
4.
now, Donnie.
Oh, they got that wave, I'll tell you. There's Nettles. That patented play throws him out. Well, Earl, should we stay the way we are? What do you think? Look at this. First of all, look at this play. Oh,
you know, I wonder how he did it in New York, but it just seemed like time and time again he turned that glove any way he wanted to and came up with the baseball. Here's a nice backhand. I'm sure that Ronnie Say remembers the 1978 World Series when we were down 2-0, and every time Ron Guidry let it go, the Dodgers hit it and put it in play hard, and Greg Nettles seemed to look at his glove, and there it was.
Shades of the 1970 series with Brooks Robinson.
Fair ball. Great play by Robinson. Look at that. Oh, great day in the morning. What a play. And Nettles still very deep at third. Davis with a high fly ball, and Templeton going out and calling. In front of Martinez. 2 gone, and that was way up in the air. And a reminder that the National League Championship Series, an ABC Sports exclusive, is being brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. But Earl, I was talking about, what about, there's a pitching decision to be made now. If they go to game 4, should the game stay like it is?
Well, we have an off day tomorrow, and Jim Fry's thinking about who might be starting Saturday. As we get a ground ball to second base, to throw to first, and we'll talk about that pitching change later on.
And we will now go to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is 7-1. The Padres on top. We'll be back with more baseball after this word from our local station. Some great pictures yesterday in Chicago, and some great ones again here tonight in San Diego. As Ed Whitson stands in 0 for 2. I'll tell you one thing, that man from Tennessee doesn't get cheated, does he?
He's trying to join the party, isn't he? He's from a little town called Irwin, Tennessee. That's 40 minutes from the Smoky Mountains. And the only way to get out of Irwin, you've got to go over the mountains.
Outside, 1-1 the count.
Must be the only way to get in, too.
That's about it.
There's Eric Shaw. Now, that might tell you something right there. What would that think about there, right there,
Definitely does. It looks like he's got the 4th game for San Diego. There's an off day, and it allows the managers, if they so desire, to bring that first game pitcher back with 3 days rest. I think I know what he's going to do. He's going to come back with Shaw. That was Dick Williams we looked at.
Right. He only went 4 innings in that first game, so he will have plenty of rest.
And there's Fry, and there's Fry. He was non-committal before the game. He didn't want to talk about a 4th game, but after the game, he's going to have to make a decision, too. Will it be Sutcliffe or will it be Scott Sanderson?
Whitson down on strikes, and the Padres will go to the top of the order. Well, I'll tell you what it did for Dick Williams, too, that home run by that young man right there, Kevin McReynolds. He sat the big Goose down in a hurry. He didn't have to bring him in with that 7-1 lead.
Well, he's got an off day tomorrow. I don't think he'd mind pitching Goose tonight. I don't think he'd mind pitching him Saturday and Sunday. He'd go with him.
What I meant is in the 4-1 ball game, and now you break it open and get 3 more in that respect.
I almost just wonder, though, Don, whether you'd like to see Goose Gossage get a little work in if you're Dick Williams.
If you might maybe get an inning. You're right. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. 1 out, nobody on. 7-11-0 for the Padres. 1-4-0.
just think it's exciting to see Goose. I just want to see him in there.
Here's a one-hop for Sandberg. Nice, easy play to throw him out. Boy, that young man is talented.
He made that play look easy, and the ball was hit hard. If he tries to field it under any other way than the way he fielded it, he would have had trouble on a short hop. We get to see it again from high above third base. Ball hit well, one hop. Now, if he charges that ball or tries to break to first base on, he's going to get it on a short hop. He just drifted back, took it easily on a high hop, and threw the man out at first base.
Tony Gwynn takes a strike, and the count is 0-1. Gwynn 3 for 3 tonight, a double, 2 singles, and a run score. Gwynn has hit 6 balls in the series to the left side, and then he's moved a couple to the right side tonight.
And he's been up to the plate 11 times, and he's hit the ball hard about 7 or 8 of those times. He has hit the ball on the button.
Well, we've said before, and you've commented too, Reggie, when you hit 351, you're going to have to hit the ball hard somewhere. And he has, leading all the major leagues in hitting this year, the National League batting champion. Breaking pitch inside, 2-1 the count. Full count, 3-2. To Durham, he's there. And that'll do it. So the Padres are gone 1-2-3 in the 7th inning. We're through 7 from San Diego in game number 3. The Padres 7 and the Cubs.
And he can run. He's got great speed.
Well, you see those numbers, left-handers and right-handers. As Whitson starts inning number 8. This is outside, and the count 1-0. You can see Kennedy saying, come on, get that arm up now. Don't get out here and get flopped on me.
Outstanding job by Ed Whitson as we look at him.
1-1.
The great thing about baseball, the great thing about sports is it gives people an opportunity to grow up and make something of themselves. Ed Whitson from a family of 8, 5 brothers and 3 sisters.
2 balls and a strike to count.
He worked on a job before he got into baseball, making $81 every 2 weeks.
2-2 the count. Well,
I got paid less than that in the minor leagues for a month.
Earl.
We're going back a few years.
What'd you hit in the minor leagues?
Oh, I hit well.
Here we go again.
I can hear Palmer with that one.
Tomorrow night. Paid well in the minor leagues.
That's a fight, and once again, Kennedy reminds Whitson, come on, get that arm up there. Full count, 3-2 to Bosley with the leadoff hitter, Bobby Dernier on deck. Struck him out looking.
I thought it was.
It looks like a good pitch to me.
Get to see it one more time. Just a fastball on the inside half of the plate. Oh, did you see it come back and grab that corner?
He hit the mitt.
I can understand why Bosley thought it might be a ball. He took his eye off it.
A lot of times that ball will run back out over the plate on you. And you'll want to complain. It'll make you argue, pal.
Now there's one gone, and that'll bring on Bob Dernier. He's walked, line to short, and he's bounced to second. Takes a strike.
Looks to me like Whitson wants a complete game.
Well, he's charging hard right now. You see he's got his chest stuck out, and he's going after it, pal.
He did it the whole game, Rich.
A little high. You could see where Kennedy again dropped his arm. He says, your hand's down. You got to keep it up on top of that breaking pitch.
And the funny thing about that, if that sacrifice was successful, the ground ball over to first. 2 outs, but if that ground ball and that sacrifice was successful, they might have walked Templeton, and Whitson might not have been in the ball game.
So true.
Okay. Mighta, coulda,
shoulda.
You know the biggest word in the world is if. It's bigger than the word smile, and there's a mile between the S and the E. But right now, I know it's 7-1.
Kind of like that old if and aunt and uncle little thing. Here's Whitson. He's thrown 100 pitches. Here's Ryan Sandberg as he takes a strike, and Whitson indeed coming right at him. Hard down the line. That'll be into into the corner. Extra bases into the bullpen. As Martinez chases it down, the double by Sandberg. And I mean, he got that top hand up on that.
Not to take anything away from him, but that was a 7-1, 3-1 hit me fastball. I don't want to walk you. Get to see it right there. Fastball right above the belt.
Right down there over the middle of the plate, and he just leans right on it.
Well, that's what a pitcher should do with a 7-1 lead.
Oh, yeah.
Do not want to walk anybody.
Not at all. That ball hit hard.
Number 36.
Again, a big advantage when you're the Padres right now, and you're Ed Whitson. You know you've got a 7-run lead. You know you've only got a couple innings to play, and you know you've got the big man down in the bullpen ready to bail you out whenever you need him.
Yes, sir. And there might have been a little ding-a-ling down in that pen because there's a little stirring around as Matthews doesn't get the breaking pitch. And indeed, somebody's throwing a firecracker down in that Padre pen as they stir. And there it is. Number 54, the Goose. Rich Gossett. High chopper, Templeton right there. On to Garvey, and that'll do it. The Cubs are gone in the 8th. No runs on a hit, no errors. They leave a man. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Padres lead the Cubs 7-1.
IBM presents You Make the Call. With a runner on first base, a pitcher starts from the stretch position and throws the ball. But the umpire spots something wrong and calls time. What did he see? You make the call. Because the pitcher never came to a complete stop in the stretch position before he threw the ball, the umpire called a balk and stopped play. If you said balk, then you made the right call.
All right, Timmy, thank you very much. As Gossage will continue to get loose to come in and pitch tonight, the Cubs have made a pitching change. The big right-hander Tim Stoddard comes on. So Stoddard will face Garvey, Nettles, and Kennedy in that order. Interesting stat on tonight's game. The Padres have left only 1 man on base tonight. They left 14 on in the first 2 games. The Cubs have left 5 men on tonight. They left 14 on in the first 2 games. Garvey 0 for 3. Fouled out to first, hit into a double play, and bounced to second.
With 1 man left on base, they're doing what Reggie talked about in the pregame show, and that's getting the job done.
Yes, they are. They've got the offense working tonight. Somebody had gone around and slapped people on the back, and it's working. There are people stepping to the front tonight. Well, it's always interesting to me to see you get the last 10, 15 seconds in a ball game, and the score is tied in a basketball game, and some guys just are never near the ball. In baseball, it's the same way. Some players just don't want to take charge. The Padres have certainly stepped up and done that tonight.
There's a strike 1 and 2 the count. Garvey's not happy with that call.
Wasn't a good call. So there's been pitches missed on both sides, just like all the time.
Down and off the shin guards of Davis, over in a hurry, throws him out. And a reminder that there will be exciting CFA football on ABC. That'll continue this Saturday with the top 10 powers colliding. You'll see either the Nebraska Cornhuskers facing the unbeaten 4-0 Oklahoma State Cowboys, or a battle of the SEC rivals Georgia and Alabama. And a week from this Saturday, the #1 ranked Texas Longhorns battle the #3 Oklahoma Sooners. And the games, of course, will be seen right here live on ABC, 3:30 Eastern Time, as Nettles stands in. That is to the right side, and Durham will give it to Stoddard, and that will do it. So there's 2 gone. And a reminder, too, that the way it's going right now, that we'll be back right here in San Diego on Saturday night. And that'll be at 8 Eastern Time, Game 4, the National League Championship Series. And don't forget, tomorrow night, while the National League takes a day off, the American League will resume again at Tigers Stadium in Detroit. The Royals trying to get on the board themselves. The Tigers 2 games to zip in their 3rd game of their series as Kennedy fouls it away. The 2-2 pitch to Kennedy. Did he go around? Yes, he did. And Kennedy knew it, started to walk away, looked to just to check. Well, the Padres are gone in the 8th inning. 3 up, 3 down as you look at it one more time. Kennedy goes around, and he knew it. So 7-1, the Padres on top after 8. We'll be back after this message and a word from our local station. Another beautiful shot from our Goodyear blimp high above Jack Murphy Stadium here in San Diego. Top of the 9th inning, man. There's the Goose. You know, it's amazing when you think about Jack Murphy Stadium tonight, an all-time Major League record. As first pitch, you talk about power to power, Durham to Gossage, but it's named after a gentleman here in San Diego who was really instrumental in bringing Major League Baseball here, a writer for San Diego for the Union, Jack Murphy. And I'll tell you, he's gone right now, but he would love to have seen this day.
This is a great sight, I'll tell you.
And Durham quickly down 1-2-3.
And that was the breaking ball from Goose Gossage. When a man throws 97 to 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden he throws you a breaking ball, you might as well just save your swing and energy, because you're not going to hit it.
We see it right here
for the hard one.
Down and in, exactly where it's supposed to be. The pitch before was 92 miles an hour, but that's still hard enough to get you looking fastball.
Well, one of the reasons he's in the ball game tonight, this is the only inning he's pitched in 7 days, so he needs the work. I think along with that, I think that just the emotional uplift that he'll give the crowd, the team, and the city, just to see Goose Gossage out there is going to work wonders for these people.
To center field, McReynolds is right there, and there's 2 gone in the ninth. The crowd, and there's a lot of them left, the 58,346 on their feet as they look for out number 3, and it'll be Ron Cey. Remember this, in 1981, Cey with the Dodgers and Gossage with the Yankees, the 5th game. Boy, I'll tell you.
Accidents happen. That's why you should wear that ear flap on that helmet. They're trying to bring in a double ear flap. But I know that Ron Cey has got to be thinking about that right now as he hollers outside to the umpire.
95.
Goose might even be saving a little bit, even at 95 miles an hour.
That's the story. 2 outs in the ninth. Out of play. They're not booing. They're just saying Goose, and it's 0-2. That was 98, and the Cubs are down to their final strike in their final.
Sounds like he's just starting to get loose. 92 to 95 to 98 down.
I guess. Outside, 1-2. You think that isn't a menacing sight to see that big guy coming at you, legs, arms, and 90.
6'3", 230 pounds, and he's all over the place, actually.
Look out.
Oh, my.
Curveball, that hangs inside.
I'd like to be hitting right now.
No.
Look at this pitch. There's no purpose here. He's just throwing the ball as hard as he can right now.
I'd like you to take notice. If he's throwing him a breaking ball right now, you've got to wait that much longer if you're a hitter. That's why the guys that throw this hard, you've almost got to give them their breaking ball and do nothing but look for the fastball. Because if you're looking for a curveball, he throws a fastball inside, you're hit.
There's no question about that. And Ron Cey had a good swing at that next pitch. Well, that's why Cey, the professional that he is. That will get him. And that retires the side as the Padres get on the board in the championship series. Gossage comes in and strikes out 2 out of the 3. 1-2-3. The Cubs are gone in the 9th inning. There's a happy dugout right there. Dick Williams has got another reprieve.